If I could just fucking record podcasts all the time,
I mean, yes, that's the dream, of course.
if I was just in them, it would be better.
Well, I mean, for you.
Fuck you.
Kind of don't think you're putting the content first, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's called the Dr. DC podcast.
Yeah. Well, oh no.
Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Wait, was that actually it? That was the start?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
It's weird for me that you don't have like 3 screens going. Normally when we record, there's so many things going on.
Well, one, I started using the iPad, so I don't need my laptop open.
Right. And we don't have a guest, and we're not watching an episode of Supernatural.
And we're not I'm not showing any videos from the news or anything.
Right.
So I just really only need
That's why
this.
I wasn't ready for you to start. I thought you were just joking.
No,
Yeah,
this is it.
That was funny.
Until we get to the end, and then I'll be like, now we're really starting. An hour and a half
It was a
later.
2-hour bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the cold open.
Yeah. One day, that's going to happen.
This is going to be a 2-parter episode. You could theoretically make the first part the cold open for the second part.
I mean, I don't hate that idea.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. I'm also not doing 2 episodes of today. So,
Well, no, of course not.
because I can only take so much of this. It's not like it's Ghostface or something. the main feed.
Yeah.
Speaking of a main feed,
Oh, no.
We've got a review.
I don't like that.
we got a review. Feed me your reviews. Daddy's
The
hungry.
main feed sounds so bad. Oh, God.
But that's not what you call your mouth?
I would never type the words main feed into a porn aggregator. Let's just put it that way. I would never type those words in. I'd be afraid of what would come up.
You know those things that like horses wear so they can like eat while they're walking around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Right.
Mhm.
Just a fucking food bag.
Yeah, but full of cum. I wonder why the Dr. DC fan base is so different from Ghostfacers.
Yeah, it's almost like we've actively cultivated a worse culture.
Oh, you mean because we've trained our audience to troll us
Here's the
Discord?
thing. We've trained our audience to troll us. We are like we've set a precedent of like
mean-spirited fun.
mean-spirited fun and things like that. And we're still like I think like a ray of light and like a relatively safe and progressive space in comics fandom.
That's
so
true.
that tells you all you need to know about
That's
that.
true. Yeah, it's progressive bullying.
We are the safest possible comic book space because we've made it safe for other people, just not for us.
Yeah, that's
it's
exactly.
hostile for us.
Yeah,
but safe for everyone else.
Look, think about all of the pain that you've received from society. Think about being
Easy,
treated,
Snyder.
Think about being treated poorly and the way that the way the world has put you down, and put it on us.
Yeah, you've got that Jesus Joker image as your background.
Yeah. It's
What a stupid fucking picture that is.
Yeah, let us be the end of the pyramid for your intergenerational trauma.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, don't know that
All
I'd
roads leads to us.
I don't think I'd make that the tagline, but
Dr. TC podcast, the feed of intergenerational.
the main feed. All right, what's the review?
We have a review of 5-star 105.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh
Oh, wow. From Rick to the E.
Hey.
Oh. Hip hop. With the subject, a batch of cookies.
Oh, right. No. It wasn't the subject a batch of cookies. The review was a batch of cookies.
Yeah.
Instead of coming from Apple Podcasts, it came in the form of a batch of cookies.
Yes, but we didn't eat them.
Well, no, they never got sent to us, but we saw them. There was like photographic proof of life. It was a picture of the cookies with today's newspaper.
Taste or it does or it didn't happen. He goes on to say, I baked you a 5-star review.
Yeah. Thank you.
I wish I could give that a chef's kiss, but I need it in me. Put it in me, Rick to the E.
I mean, so aggressive the way you say it.
I'm talking to myself.
But yeah, we'll eat anything a stranger makes for us. Go ahead, make a bunch of stuff and send it to us. We'll eat anything a stranger sends us.
We did put our address on
we have a proper, not either of our homes mailing address.
Yes.
For Dr. DC.
That's
we
right.
put it up on the Discord.
Yeah, so you got to get on the Discord to get it.
Yeah. Give me $1 to get my address.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
Still so low.
Yeah.
So low.
So low.
Thank you for the review, Rick to the E.
Absolutely.
Hope the cookies were good.
Yeah. I'd love to know.
I mean, come on, man.
Wow.
I mean, you could make cookies.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I don't know how to do that.
I would be interested in getting more reviews in the form of someone making a meal.
Big surprise.
Get fucked, first of all. Let's just move on with the show.
Well, speaking of, let's get to the news. Aquaman, what? King of Atlantis debut.
Right. So we see
the show didn't debut, but
we saw like a couple of images or a couple of little clips or something. This is the animated series. I think it's supposed to be like 3 parts, and it's supposed to basically like not fully bridge the gap, but pick up after Aquaman 1, and it takes place between Aquaman 1 and the eventual Aquaman 2. And it's about Arthur actually having to be the king of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And we saw like the art style of it, and I think it looks fun.
It's like Adventure Timey kind of.
Kind of Adventure Timey, kind of. I don't know enough like current cartoons to name other things, but it's a sort of like, it's not a super realistic rendering of either of Arthur or Mira, but it looks kind of fun and colorful and it's stylized. Like I think it's cool. I think it's a neat idea.
Me too. I just can't see this.
Are we actually recording?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good.
We are. I just, from this angle, it all looked like zeros, and I was like, uh-oh. So much gold, baby. You can't recreate this gold.
No, we can't recreate the bit where you called me fat for the 50th time.
Oh, I think it's been more than that.
It definitely has.
Remember when I texted you the other day because the art center was having a whale exhibit, and I said that it was nice of them to have an exhibit about you?
Which is insane. I've lost so much weight.
I know, but inside you haven't.
No, that's the weight of life. That's
I know, but inside
that's like my Atlas fortitude is that I'm walking around with like just the weight of life and responsibility on me.
You gotta understand, I don't care about the way you look. I care about the way you feel about yourself. That's where I get you.
You got to keep that down.
Yeah, exactly.
If I feel too good about myself, I won't need you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you little bitch. Moving on.
Are you excited for this thing?
I'm fucking stoked. Yeah,
it looks dope.
I wonder if it's going to be like comical because
I'm cool with the art style as long as the content matches, right? If it looks wacky, but then it's just like serious or something weird, then like I think I wouldn't like that. But if it's like he's trying to be king, but he's like used to just going and getting drunk or whatever, like it's him getting used to being king, that should be funny, right? Like
I would think so, but also like if it's supposed to be bridging the gap between the movies, like is it supposed to have a tie-in to the movies?
I mean, presumably,
like it's gonna be like my man,
presumably them voicing them.
Is that really the idea?
I mean, I would hope it might not be, but like I would kind of hope, but it is literally meant to be like DCEU canon. It's supposed to be them between the movies.
That Aquaman is blonde, right, in the cartoon.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like that, I don't really give a shit about. It's more just like,
yeah, I think for me, I'm just like, how closely is it actually going to be?
I think it just needs to tonally be funny.
I agree. That's what I want.
You can just acknowledge the events. Be like, yeah, you beat Orm. Now you're king. Blah, blah, blah. And by the way, like, here's a bunch of meetings. And he, like, falls asleep in a meeting. And you go, like, Arthur.
I know. That's what I want.
I want that shit.
I want that. I wish that they just didn't tie it to the movies. Like, I don't think that should have happened.
I don't really think it won't hold it back. The only thing that holds it back is when people either go too tight to the continuity or they just, like... You know what I mean? Like, you could be just loosely part of it.
I know. Like, it doesn't need to be, I guess. And I don't want them to... I want it just to be its own thing.
I think it's more that they were it's the purpose of it was literally just to maybe give you a couple of little things about him like adjusting so that when they go to Aquaman 2, he'll just be the king.
Yeah.
And also, generally speaking, beyond comic book readers, that's the only Aquaman there is.
I mean, yeah.
So it might as well be them.
Yeah, I guess.
Sort of build on the property.
But I think people who don't know Aquaman at all and only know him from the movies are going to be sort of like, that's not Aquaman.
Yeah, maybe. I guess until we know whether or not they're actually being voiced by them or like what the kind of
I feel like there's no way they're not getting Jason Momoa to do that.
Why not? He would be down for it.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't be cool and he'd be down for it. There's no way his agents let that happen, though.
It depends how much they're paying him.
I guess.
If it's basically like a big marketing campaign so we don't forget about Aquaman before they go into production on the second one.
Yeah, maybe.
Then it's probably worth it for them.
I suppose. It just seems unlikely that you're going to get
Because I thought that was part of it too, is they knew there was going to be such a big gap between them because I guess James Wan had something else he wanted to work on that they were like, well, maybe we'll do this. People won't forget about it. We'll keep it alive a little bit.
You're still the one. You're still the one I run to. The only one I long to. Still the one I kiss.
Swim. Good night. Made it Aquaman related.
Yeah, we're so good at this. I'm glad we get to practice on this podcast.
That was also like a weird Shania reference for, I guess, only for Stump.
Oh, yeah.
For Stump and Mad Seb and whoever else is in Canada.
I always forget Shania is not an American artist.
I mean, she was a big country star. Like, it's likely that some of our American listeners know who Shania is, but she's also very Canadian. Yeah.
Let's go, Aqua people.
Yeah. So you're the king of Atlantis. That don't impress me much.
Oh.
So you got the fork, but do you got the squid? You don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So your name is Orm. Don't much.
So you've united 4 of the 7 seas.
That don't impress me much.
So, yeah, okay.
Whose bed has your fork been under?
Wow, we're gonna keep going for it.
I was just like, what else do I have in my?
Is that a Shania song?
I thought so.
Oh, what's the other?
Is Black Velvet a Shania song?
No, it is not. No.
Yeah. Speaking of TV series,
right.
Peacemaker series comes to HBO Max.
Yeah, so this is the one they announced this like way back, like maybe not long after they revealed some of the footage from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
This might have been back during Fandom or something like that.
Yeah.
But they announced they were going to do I think it's like a 6-episode Peacemaker mini-series, like a TV show. It's John Cena as the Peacemaker. It goes directly out of The Suicide Squad. It's the same continuity and everything, but the sort of the buzz was like he must be
so good.
He must be bringing something. I mean, time will tell whether or not we like what he's bringing, but he's bringing something and it's standing out, and they're like, we should do more of this.
Yeah, they're feeling so confident in it that they were like, before we barely saw anything from Suicide Squad, before we've really even seen Peacemaker, they're like, give that man a show.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. And I think James Gunn is like producing
that,
or did he write some or something? I think he's involved. He might not be writing and directing all of it or something, but he's involved. It's still his vision of Peacemaker. So whatever he and John Cena are doing in that movie, it got someone's attention. And I think I'm interested only based on that. Also, like, just the idea of not only a character that isn't Superman or Batman, but a character that is like so many tiers further down.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do more of that stuff. Give me more. Like, you don't have to do a 22 episode season and be like, man, I really hope Condiment Kid can pull it off. Just do like short little things and give highlight other people. That gets me excited. My hope would be that in future movies or TV shows, if there's a standout sort of character, that instead of having to greenlight a whole show or something, you'd be like, we'll give you like a 4 episode miniseries.
Yeah.
We want like the adventures of, and you just throw someone
Do
in.
it the way that the BBC does it, right? Like,
yeah, like I think that's what I want.
yeah, I
And
agree.
So if that is the start or just an indication of the willingness to do something like that, then I'm all about it. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to report on it beyond that because we know so little about his Peacemaker.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm stoked though. I'm very curious.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's one of those old Charlton characters, right? That's the character that the comedian is based on in Watchmen.
Yeah.
He's Christopher Smith is the man who loves peace so much he'll kill for it. That's sort of the tagline for Peacemaker.
That's very funny.
And that character is joining the Suicide Squad comic starting in March.
Wow.
So they're moving Peacemaker back into the spotlight a bit. Like they're trying to prep people for Peacemaker.
Yeah, which is awesome because it's such a weird character.
Yeah, totally.
That's hilarious. All right, next, Sasha Calle is Supergirl in Andy Muschietti's The Flash.
Yes. So Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, he's the guy that did like the new It movies and stuff like that. Obviously, we know that Keaton's Batman is going to be in that movie. There were a couple of other things that sort of got announced.
I love
or
that
rumored.
we're still fucking getting announcements of this goddamn
They've started
movie.
filming because there are some. Not like official set photos, but like they have actually started filming. Apparently, the Flash movie is being made.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
I'll believe it when I'm in the.
And even then, I'm like, is this the movie though?
Yeah. But he posted this very sort of cute Zoom conversation between him and this actor. She's like a soap actor. I'm not super familiar with her. But she's a Latina soap actor. He posts this thing and he says, like, can you fly? And she goes, what, you mean like, can I fly? And he's like, no. She says no. And he goes like, would you like to fly? And she goes, And then he holds up the Supergirl costume and says, you're going to need this. And she gets all emotional and that. It's very cute.
Oh, wow.
It's a cool, I like that DC has sort of been putting out these kind of cool, like kind of casting things. Like remember, The Rock posted his interaction with Aldous Hodge and stuff like that. Like when he cast him when he got cast as Hawkman. So I like that we're putting those things out there. She's super excited. I think she's going to look great as a Supergirl in Cavill's kind of Superman family. I think that's really cool. It's cool to just get a Latina actor in there for someone who is not like Renee Montoya.
Yeah,
you know?
because guess what? Krypton is not on Earth, so it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. I think it's super cool. But like, it's also just interesting that it's like, okay, so now this movie has Supergirl in it.
Yeah.
And we know it's kind of a version of a multiverse thing that's maybe like riffing on Flashpoint, but is not necessarily go back in time, ruin history, Flashpoint.
Yeah.
It's something kind of like that. But I also think it's interesting to keep building that Flash Supergirl relationship, maybe that they're like, they worked well on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a friendship that we should build more.
It's like,
like Flash and Supergirl is a thing we like, even if it's not this particular version of Flash and Supergirl. Like there's something about that I find kind of fascinating.
Does that happen at all in the comics often? Like,
Flash and Supergirl? I mean, I'm sure they've crossed paths.
but it's not. It's not like a thing that's like.
It's not like an iconic comic book friendship or anything.
But maybe it could be. Yeah.
And maybe that's what they're going for.
I mean, I am up for that because I think that it does really work. Like.
And I think those are the things that I like when something works in one medium and then you try it in another. You know what I mean? Like.
Because if like Superman,
like Flash and Green Arrow on the shows obviously become like real buds, and then there was a moment in the Green Arrow Rebirth run where there's an issue where he teams up with the Flash, and even though those two aren't really historically that linked, I read that issue and I was like, this feels like coming home. Wow. I've been waiting for the Flash and Green Arrow issue, and it's not based on the comics. It's based on this thing from TV that worked. And then when you bring it over, they all kind of feed into each other. And you go like, but it still feels right. It's because I'm thinking of that relationship, even in this continuity or whatever. So if they're doing that with Supergirl, I'm into it.
At the end of the day, like if Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are sort of the parents, then I mean, everybody else, it makes sense that they said they're sort of on the same level and could like mingle.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, certainly the DCEU Flash is like a younger, greener, less experienced hero. So then putting that dynamic in with Akara, who's technically older than Cal, but he's been doing it longer, and like all that kind of like there's something interesting about how those dynamics work off each other.
Yeah, I like it.
I have no idea like anything about this movie still.
No,
but it's got my attention.
Yeah, I just it's impressive how long this has been sort of going on, and that we're still like that it's still got a buzz.
Yeah. I mean, it's got more buzz now that it's actually moving towards something.
Surprising if you actually do something and people give a shit.
Yeah.
All right, last piece of news. DC celebrates Asian Pacific American Heritage Month with new anthology comic Festival of Heroes.
Yeah, there's like an 80-page special coming.
I think it's 90.
Oh, it's 90 pages?
96-page one-shot.
Amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
Coming in May or June, and it's going to feature stories
11th.
for a bunch of different Asian and Pacific characters, including like Kong Keenan, the new Superman of China. I think like they've got like Tai Pham, the Green Lantern, in there, Dr. Light. I mean, I'm forgetting so many, obviously, now that I'm trying to name them, but I think it seems to be like a really cool sort of, I think Cassandra Cain,
Katana,
maybe Lady Shiva,
Lady
Katana.
Shiva, the Atom,
Ryan Choi Atom. Yeah, it's going to be a cool little anthology, I think. You know, the hope is always that some of these characters get to see a little bit of life beyond a special. I wouldn't
bet on it.
I wouldn't bet on it, but also, you know, I think it'll be fun to see some of those characters in their own stories. A character like Dr. Light, where we rarely see Kim Yo-Hoshi ever anymore. Mm-hmm. Cool to get a story there and stuff like that. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And most importantly, it's written and drawn by like all Asian American and like Asian.
Is that true?
People.
Like all the creative teams?
Yeah.
See, that's the right move. That is the piece I wasn't sure about, or if they were just like, and we got Tom King to write it.
No, it's like Jean Luen Yang, Mariko Tamaki.
I love that so much.
Min Lee. Ram V, Greg Pak, Dustin Nguyen, Amy Chu, Alyssa Wong, and others.
That's awesome. Yeah, see, now that's the right move.
Yeah.
Now, DC, give any of those people control over one of those characters in a miniseries or ongoing.
Yeah, there's only one bad move, which was that the cover was by Jim Lee and Alex Sinclair. So close. Oh, so close.
I mean, Alex Sinclair could... I mean, you're just going only on the name.
Yeah, that's true. Jim Lee is Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you pump the brakes a little bit?
I was just ready to be mad.
I know you were. You were so ready there.
All right, but I'm watching you, DC.
Amazing.
Step lightly. All right. Well, with that, let's get to this week's theme. You motherfuckers asked so many goddamn questions, we had to put this in 2 parts.
Yeah, sometimes you ask just a few too many questions. We can't get to them all.
And we just push it into like a oops all questions episode or something.
But when you ask this many questions, it becomes a 2-parter. So you're listening to part 1 of our DCAMU theme. So it's the DC animated movie universe, which does not refer to any animated movie. It's very specifically the continuity that started after Flashpoint Paradox. It was sort of the new 52 kind of styling and influence, and it ran all the way up to Justice League Dark Apokolips War.
Yeah.
And then that continuity ended. So you sent so many questions about this that it's a 2-parter.
You know what I love is that Walmart and Shoppers Drug Mart has been carrying so much of those movies.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. I keep almost picking them up.
Do you know what? I mean, we'll get to it. There are some kind of like there are some great things in there. There are some really fun ones, and then there are some really like, holy shit, I can't believe you did that ones.
Yeah.
past guest of the pod, Heath Corson, was a writer on Justice League War and Throne of Atlantis, 2 of the early installments of this continuity. There's some neat adaptations of classic stories like Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen, or like Hush or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a weird blend of like really new stuff trying to make newer versions of classic stuff. It's an odd little movie continuity.
Yeah, and like weird shit too gets in there, like
some weird shit. But you get new stuff.
Ninja's part of that, isn't it?
No,
it's
Ninja's
not.
its own
it's post thing. Okay, because it's similar design styles.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think the animation is. I think the animation studio might be in Japan or something like that. It certainly has some of those sensibilities to it, and some like the designs of the characters feel like they have that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's get into Facebook.
Going to the face in the book. Going to the Facebook.
First question comes from the most interesting resident.
Oh, Stephen Marion Almagro.
Stephen Marion Almagro.
Fuck, I got it. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Woo.
Woo. Who asks if a free pass to heaven was available, like in the Suicide Squad Hell to Pay movie. Who ultimately gets it? Producer Richard or the doc?
Okay. So there's a few things I want to talk about before we settle the question.
Yeah.
So there's a movie in this continuity called Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which I think might be the craziest animated movie DC's ever made.
Really?
Not like artistically the way Batman Ninja is, but like the story is nuts. The number of characters in it are crazy, and it's weirdly high concept. So it's an R-rated animated movie because it's the Suicide Squad and there's lots of death and blood.
Who's this for?
But then also, the bad guy in it is Reverse Flash. But it's not just any Reverse Flash. It's the Reverse Flash that Thomas Wayne shot in the head at the end of Flashpoint.
What?
And in the instant he got shot in the head, he pulls the Speed Force into himself and escapes to this continuity to try and get this Get Out of Hell free card, which is a mystical item that stops you from going to hell when you die. Because he only has like a split second to get that card before he dies in that continuity.
Yeah.
So he's running around with a hole in his head because he's using the Speed Force to take that millisecond and stretch it into the time he needs.
Oh my god.
That's the plot of that movie.
What?
So it's using multiple continuities, time travel, Speed Force, magic, heaven and hell, the Suicide Squad.
What?
Like everything is in that movie. It is so much fun. I fucking love that movie.
Wow.
It's crazy. I think you would really dig it because it's just so not what you're expecting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
really,
rules.
really wild movie. But again, the central premise of it is that there is this card called the Get Out of Hell free card. And it works. It's a real thing. But it only works once, and you have to be in possession of it when you die.
Okay.
And it will stop your soul from going to hell. So in this movie, all these villains are like, I need that.
Wow.
Members of the Suicide Squad need it. Waller is trying to get it. That's why she sends the squad after it. Reverse Flash wants it. Vandal Savage has it and has it sewn into him.
Oh my god.
And they get it out of him. And it's like crazy shit is in this movie. But that's a real thing from the comics.
Really?
The Get Out of Hell free card is a thing from, I think it's Gail Simone's Secret Six run, the pre-Flashpoint Secret Six. It's a real item. It's a real thing from comics. It's a real thing that villains have fought over.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, who gets it, me or you? The better question is who needs it, and it's you.
Yeah. Also, I would never stop until I got it.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
Relentless. Remember that just because you're stronger than me and bigger than me doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, you could be as relentless as you want. If I just hold you at arm's length, your relentlessness kind of doesn't matter.
Look, money can get you a lot of things in life.
Oh, you're gonna buy me up? You're gonna buy my soul?
Well, no, or I'll just buy somebody else to get it for me.
All right, take your best shot.
Suddenly.
Over the next 8 episodes, Richard will try to get the get out of hell card off of me.
Wait, this means you have it?
I've said too much.
This was like a thing
Ninja vanished.
This was like a thing that was going on with Meme Boys for a long time, that it was like a constant threat from Keith that he was going to put Tom in a cage.
That's really funny.
He kept just being like, I could do it if I tried. If I really wanted to, I could put you in a cage.
Makes me think of that Wu-Tang Martin Shkreli thing where they made that one like gold album and that Pharma Bro bought it, and part of the thing was that Wu-Tang has a year to like pull off a heist to get it back.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that taints it is that it involved that fucking Pharma Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But otherwise that was an amazing sort of thing to happen.
I wish they would have pulled it off.
That would have been incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame. All right, let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
That's Twitter.
First question comes from the reviewer himself, Rick to the E.
Wow. Double dipping, I would say.
Yeah, I love it. Double dip your fucking life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you want another take?
Double dip. What is this? An ice cream shop?
I mean, I think we're done here.
Double dip. In this economy?
Never mind. You brought it. You got it.
Yeah.
You won me over.
Why did they replace Kevin Conroy after Flashpoint? He was recently in the CW Crisis crossover, so it seems like he's still willing to play that role.
Right. So in the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie, Kevin Conroy does voice Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
Who's barely in the movie. He's in at the beginning and he's in at the end where Barry gives him a letter from Thomas Wayne. But the Batman in that movie, for the most part, is the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman.
He just talks about how blue he is.
Am I blue? Am I blue?
Ain't these tears telling you?
But Batman in basically the rest of this continuity is voiced by an actor named Jason O'Mara. And
Stephen Marion O'Mara?
Oh my God. Jason's just this Robbie's just this Stephen Marion Almagro.
It's too much. I don't feel good.
Okay. I think the reason that it shifted is that initially they were just doing Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah.
Because even if you look at the animation at the end or the styling of the costumes, that's not really what this continuity ends up looking like. I think they just made that movie. And then someone was like, let's use this as an opportunity to set up kind of a new movie continuity.
Okay.
So I don't think it was like, I don't think they knew going in that Flashpoint Paradox was setting this up, which is partly why the voice cast changes.
Okay.
And also why the styling changes and stuff like that. And then also just in terms of ever choosing to replace Kevin Conroy, I think it was more just let this thing be its own thing. Kevin Conroy, obviously, he's played Batman in different animated continuities and things like that. But if you want this thing to stand apart, kind of be its own little consistent thing with no sort of room for confusion about whether or not it's connected to any of the other things.
Yeah.
It does make sense to get someone else in there, I think. I don't think it was that Kevin Conroy didn't want to do it or that they were like, we hate you, Kevin Conroy. I think it was just they wanted this thing to kind of be its own, have its own life.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next question from ZBGB.
Oh, give me the CBGBs.
Oh, I love seeing the Ramones at the ZBGB.
I almost made a joke and realized it was very complicated, and I made it a few episodes ago. Yeah.
DC Comics.
Yeah, it was the one about it being Barry Gibbs'
Yeah.
German insect. It's ZBGB.
Yes, that's right. Wow.
Yeah.
You literally came up with that twice.
Every once in a while,
Uh-huh.
if I ever go back and listen to an old episode, one of us will say something and I'll be like, it would be funny if we would have said this. And then it'll happen and I'll be like, okay, so it's like Pavlovian that I think of certain things.
I literally can't not talk about
stuck
that.
in the same loop. Like if I did go back in time, I couldn't change anything.
No, you have no choice but to make the same comment. Yeah, I've done that too listening. Most of the time, I'm like, God, I wish I was paying attention during that because I probably could have made a good joke. That's more often what it is. I was like, oh, I really dropped the ball there.
Yeah. Oh God, I let him like talk and actually explain something too much there.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't like that at all.
That's not good for the brand.
No, I mean, more importantly, yeah, mine or ours. ZBGB asks, can you rank your most and least favorite features in the series?
Right. I mean, not a specific ranking, but I will say Suicide Squad Hell to Pay is way up there for me. That one is like, it's doing something a little gnarly. It's got some crazy high concept stuff in it. And it's just having the time of its fucking life.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So many characters in it. Vandal Savage, Reverse Flash, Killer Frost, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Scandal Savage, Knockout, a version of Dr. Fate who is a stripper that just finds the helmet.
What?
So much stuff happens in that movie. Christian Slater voices Deadshot in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What is going on?
It's pretty wild. I dig it. That one's way up there for me. One that I'll put on sort of the opposite end that I really didn't dig that much is Batman Bad Blood.
Really?
The thing I liked about it was including Luke Fox as Batwing, including Kate Kane as Batwoman. But what I didn't like about it is the story didn't grab me. I was sort of getting over how aggressively they were pushing Damian in all of these movies. Yeah. And again, this is just a movie about Talia, Damian, and Batman, and whether or not he's gonna replace Ra's al Ghul, which they kind of already done in Son of Batman, but that one had Deathstroke and stuff like that. And it sort of failed on the promise of bringing Batwing and Batwoman more into those movies. Like if it was their introduction and then they were like, and now we're gonna go and make like a different Bat movie or something, it just kind of went nowhere. It felt like a real dead end of this sort of heavily flogged Damian line. So I didn't really dig Batman Bad Blood that much. I love Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. What about Bad Blood? I mean, that's just a one at the top and one at the bottom. It's not really a ranking, but do you have any of these movies that you'd put like high or low on a list?
I mean, I've seen a few of them. I haven't seen all of them for sure.
There's a lot. It's like 20 something movies or whatever.
It's so much. First Light is good, I think. That's Green Lantern First Light.
That's not part of this continuity.
Really? God damn it! There's so it's so hard to.
I think there's a full list on the Wikipedia page for it. Here, I'll pull it up here.
Because that's the part that I'm having so much.
Green Lantern First Flight is an incredible animated movie. I'm 100% with you there. It's just not part of this.
God damn it.
Animated movie universe films here.
The Apokolips one is not?
Apokolips War?
Yeah. Or no, it's just Superman, Batman, Apokolips.
No, that's before this continuity.
Damn it, okay.
There's a few of these.
Under the Red Hood?
Nope, that's before it.
Motherfucker.
Here, this is the list.
Okay,
you look through here.
All right.
See what you've seen of this, if you've seen any of them.
Throne of Atlantis is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. Judas Contract is good.
Yeah.
I liked that one. Reign of the Supermen is good.
Yeah, that Reign of the Supermen works weirdly well in this continuity, actually, I would say. Better than it has a right to.
Wasn't a huge Hush fan, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, Hush, even as a story, is kind of one of those ones that I think at the time was like, oh my God, there's so many twists. And then you like read it and you go like, there's too many twists. Like, that's...
Didn't like Batman versus Robin.
That one I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah.
That of all of those Damian ones, I kind of don't mind Batman versus Robin. It brought in the Court of Owls and Talon, and it was I think it was the best version of the what sort of person are you going to be, Damian? Are you going to be the assassin they trained you to be, or are you going to be the son of Batman? Like, I kind of dug that one.
Yeah, Year One's not on there.
No, that's all before and not part of.
Yeah. I liked a lot of the before.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, New 52 really ruined everything. I know this is a controversial opinion, but
I will say, generally, I don't like these movies as much as the animated movies that happen outside of its continuity.
yeah.
That being said, I agree, Throne of Atlantis is fun. Fucking love Suicide Squad, hell to pay. I'll give some props to Justice League Dark and Justice League Dark Apokolips War. I know Apokolips War is just like a gore fest, and it's like, watch all of the characters that you love get an arm ripped off or like whatever. But like, it's a pretty ballsy ending to a continuity. They basically like Darkseid wins, and then a couple of random survivors come together, unleash Trigon, make Trigon fight Darkseid. They beat Darkseid and come back to the Earth and learn that it was too late to save the Earth.
Wow.
And so they send, at the end of that movie, they send Barry back in time to undo Flashpoint and him undoing Flashpoint to make the whole continuity never exist.
Which, like,
Constantine is like, you know what you have to do, and Barry's like, yeah, you're right. And he basically runs back and undoes all of it.
Do you think that means it's the same version of those characters, or those are just new versions of them? That,
what do you mean?
Like, because are they? I mean, this becomes into a larger conversation about time travel and stuff. But like, when he goes back, it's that like their version is still that version, right?
So here's the thing. At the end of Flashpoint Paradox, Barry has to stop himself from saving his mom.
Yeah.
So he runs back and stops himself.
Yeah.
This third Barry has to go from the end of Apokolips War and go back in time and basically head two Barrys off.
Yeah.
I don't think you see both of them, but that's essentially what he's doing. He has to stop two Barrys from doing their own kind of contradictory missions.
Yeah.
To stop that whole world from even happening. Pretty wild. It's a wild way to end like a series. If you don't like the gore porn kind of thing about like what if the heroes lost, then yeah, I mean it's a shitty movie to watch that way. But I think there's some good characterization for Constantine and Raven. There's a couple of cool character moments. They bring in some imagery from things like Darkseid War and stuff like that. That's kind of neat, like Batman on the Mobius chair and stuff like that.
Oh, dope!
But, yeah,
that's awesome. All right, let's move on. Holy shit. Our favorite religious representative.
Oh, Chris Chan.
That's right, the one and only, who asks, can you explain to me Wonder Woman's costume? It makes little sense to me. Is it an original design?
Yeah, I think it's an original design for this continuity. It's a costume that she has basically up until Wonder Woman Bloodlines, which is like the second last movie in this continuity.
Which I don't love that one either.
Bloodlines?
Yeah.
You watched that one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The one with Silver Swan?
Yeah, not into it.
I can't believe that's the one you watched.
It was just on because we have cable. They like put those movies on all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that surprises me a little bit.
I watched it like a few months ago. And I was like, I turned it off halfway, but
here, I'm going to pull up a picture of this Wonder Woman design. I want to get your opinions.
If it's the one I think it is that the one from Bloodlines?
Well, she ends up wearing a very kind of traditional Wonder Woman costume during Bloodlines. But for most of this continuity, she wears a costume that looks like this.
Yes. Okay, I know this version of her. Yeah. It is a weird version.
I mean, I don't hate it. I mean,
it just doesn't feel like it's from a place called Themyscira. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess it's not. It doesn't look especially Greek like the sort of version we're used to in modern comics and the movies and that. I don't like. I mean, as far as a Wonder Woman design goes, there have been worse.
Oh, I mean, in many different ways.
I don't mind it, but it's definitely got more of kind of like a modern, kind of sleek sort of aesthetic.
It feels like an like original X-Men like movies.
And yeah, I mean, she's got like the sleeves that aren't attached to anything. Like, again, if we're talking about a costume making sense, that opens a big can of worms. But like, I don't mind it. I like that there's a little bit more kind of blue incorporated. I think that's fun. She's obviously got the silver, not the gold, because that was a Wonder Woman design choice in the New 52 of comics as well. That she was like red and silver and blue.
Yeah.
So that's in there. I don't really hate this costume. I really can't say I don't like it or I don't think it works.
It's
but
too nondescript.
It's not as good as the Wonder Woman costume we sort of just know.
It's super nondescript. Like, it's nothing. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I guess I can't argue that. That's fair. But it certainly didn't offend me or anything, but it's maybe it stands out because it's the most different from the comics of all of the Justice League costumes. Like, the Flash isn't also wearing something very different.
No.
Maybe that's why it stands out or something like that. There could be that to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I do think it was an original design for this. Yeah.
All right, let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
And the first question's from Stump Chunkman.
Step into the stump! Stump Chunkman! Bleh!
Wow. How long has it been?
It's been a while
Since I've gone
and stumped things up just like I always chunk.
It's been a while.
But all that chunk seems to disappear when I'm with Stump.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're good at this. Stump asks, what did you think of the Shazam cyborg dynamic in the DCAU?
I think it's a fun one. So you see them. So for Justice League War, and Heath told us about this when he was on the show, when they made that first movie, it's really heavily based on Justice League Origin, which is the first arc of Justice League in the New 52. It's about the team coming together. Yeah. But they weren't allowed to use Aquaman. They almost weren't allowed to use Flash for some reason.
Wow.
Insane. All that kind of weird politics stuff at DC, right? Like, but they basically replaced Aquaman on the team with Shazam. So the lineup of Justice League you get in that movie where they come together for the first time is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Shazam. A lot of the beats of that movie are pulled right from that comic, you know, like Green Lantern meeting Batman for the first time and trying to figure out what his powers are.
Yes.
You know, like them having to fight Superman first because they don't know or trust each other, you know, all this kind of stuff. But what the movie set up in terms of the relationship for Billy is that like it starts with him being like a fan of Victor Stone as like a college football player, and he's like, yeah. And then when they both have powers and they both sort of show up on the team, he's like, oh, this is amazing.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like they have a cool dynamic there. And then in later movies, they also play that a little bit.
That's awesome.
About them being kind of not, I mean, they are friends, but just having a more kind of like friend relationship and less of a colleague relationship than some of the other leaguers do, especially in that continuity. Like Superman and Batman never get that close in those movies, but Cyborg and Shazam are actual kind of buds, which is neat to see. I like it. Sean Astin voices Shazam in those movies, and I think he does a really good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's really fun.
Yeah, and in that Justice League War movie, that relationship ultimately builds to the moment that sort of saves the day, which is Cyborg is trying to activate all these mother boxes to send the forces of Apokolips back, but he doesn't have enough power, so Shazam goes up, calls the lightning, powers the box, and then he transforms to Billy and is like falling in the sky. Then Cyborg saves him. So they build this relationship, and then it's the two of them that sort of seal the thing while the other heroes are punching Darkseid.
Wow.
It's kind of, I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The next question comes from Damiana Demak, who asks, I know nothing about the animated movies. I hear they're good. What should I know?
Oh, geez, Louise. I guess the most important...
Give them the pitch.
I guess the most important thing to know is that this particular continuity we're talking about, even though it does have things that are enjoyable and things I legitimately think are great, is probably, generally speaking, the weakest era of DC animated movies.
Yeah.
Now, you could take that to mean something really bad, or you could take it to mean that like a bunch of like good and fine animated movies is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
Because some of those other ones we were talking about, the things that came before, like Green Lantern First Flight or like Under the Red Hood or things like that, are like masterpieces. They're really great animated movies. They're so good that I don't want them done live
Gotham
action.
by Gaslight.
The Gotham by Gaslight one is really good.
Batman
Very
Ninja,
well done.
yeah.
Batman Ninja's great. You know, if like the nadir of DC animated movies is just like one that you're kind of like, it was fine.
Yeah.
Then that's great. And I think that's maybe the thing to know. So if you're going in and you're going in with this continuity, just be prepared that like it's extremely Batman heavy, more even than the comics are.
Yeah.
Like DC sort of had a weird kind of policy where it was like there'll be a team movie, which usually ended up being either Justice League or Teen Titans. There will be a Batman movie, and there will be an adaptation. So a couple of them were like Gotham by Gaslight is not in this continuity, but other ones were like Death of Superman, Reign of the Supermen. They made part of this continuity, but they basically said every year we'll make 3 animated movies, and that's sort of like the slots we're going to tick off. So there's a shit ton of Batman movies in there. Like there's a shit ton of Damian movies in there.
Which if you're not a fan of him, prepare.
So I would just be ready that way. But yeah, I mean, I think we've already talked about some of the ones that are, I think Justice League War and Throne of Atlantis, I have warmed on over time. I didn't think they were that good when they came out, but I actually kind of dig them.
Throne of Atlantis, I love. I think it's great.
I've talked about the Suicide Squad one. Justice League Dark, like the first one, is also really good. A fun intro to Constantine and Deadman and Satana and Swamp Thing, and you get that world. You get to see Felix Faust in that movie. It's cool to see like the world of magic in there. I think that's really strong. I would say the team movies are the strongest.
Yeah,
in that continuity,
totally.
Generally.
All right, next from Edward Wynn, who asks, is there any character or plot you wanted to add to the universe? Personally, it would have been cool to see all the Robins as spies, like in Batman and Robin Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, if we take for granted we are going to be making a ton of Batman movies, I wish they had done more with more characters.
Like more of the family?
You get a bit of Nightwing, not enough. You get too much Damian. You get basically none of anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem. More of the family would have been good, especially Batwoman. It would have been neat to give Batwing more after that one movie. But it also would have been neat to see the promise of that Batman Bad Blood movie was that Batman was taken off the board.
Yeah.
He was gone and they were trying to figure out if he was dead or what happened to him. And instead of it being the family, it ended up being like, oh, it's about Damian and Talia. Like it's sort of shitty that way, I think. So yes, I agree with that. I mean, my answer is always going to be that they needed more solo movies for the other characters. Throne of Atlantis is technically a Justice League movie that's centered on Aquaman. I'm not saying you should have made another Aquaman movie, but you should have. But like in that whole continuity, there is not a Green Lantern movie at all. Technically, there's not a Flash movie other than the fact that it kicks off with Flashpoint. But again, that was sort of unintentional.
And still a lot of Batman.
There's only one Wonder Woman movie, and it was the movie before the last one.
Yeah.
There's some Superman, but also it's the movie where he died.
But you're also seeing, you're seeing like no Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I mean, he only shows up in the team movies. No Hawks.
Yeah.
Other than in the team movies, just appearances. You know, the missed opportunity is. It's not even the deep tier characters. It's just like, where was a Green Lantern movie? Yeah. Where was a Hawk movie or something, right? Like a more space kind of movie. So I think, I mean, I think a Green Lantern one would have been nice to throw in there. I think it's a corner we don't really get in that continuity. We don't see a lot of space. We don't see a lot of the Guardians or that kind of stuff. So I would have wanted that, I think.
Yeah. Totally. All right. Let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit,
where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
From the Almighty Llama 00, who who asks, do you think Wonder Woman Bloodlines needed to tell the story of Diana meeting Steve Trevor again, despite the last animated Wonder Woman movie doing the same thing? I know it's a different continuity, but I personally find this story gets exhausting after a while.
I mean, if you think it's exhausting to see how she meets Steve Trevor, have I got something to tell you about Crime Alley? Crime Alley and Krypton.
Yeah.
And Uncle Ben.
Oh, no.
It didn't bug me. I mean, again, it's only the second animated Wonder Woman solo movie in like 15 years.
Yeah.
So I don't really care if they go back over things for those of us that forgot since the last time they deigned to make a movie. That didn't bug me too much. I take the point that you don't always want it to be an origin story or to flash back to the origin or things like that, but that didn't bug me. I would actually say the thing I liked about that movie is that it brought in a character like Silver Swan, where we're not only getting like Ares or Cheetah or like who are the Wonder Woman villains. Bring in a new one, a Silver Swan, like a different kind of character like that, so that people are like, oh, Wonder Woman has other villains.
Yeah. And
get to know them a little bit more. And I appreciate that about that movie. Yeah, I mean, I think that one's up there on my list. It's not the strongest, but it certainly didn't bug me. And again, like, we get a Wonder Woman solo thing so not often that I'm fine to see how she meets Steve again. I don't think it took up that much time in the movie. Yeah. What about you? This is one you actually saw, or saw some of at least.
Yeah, I think that it's... I mean, especially like butt up against watching the movies. Like in my mind, I'm like, God, we've seen a lot of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you could trick yourself into thinking it's oversaturated.
When it's like, we don't really get that much Wonder Woman in general.
Yeah.
Let alone in those movies, you get barely anything.
Yeah.
I think that it doesn't bug me in the way that I think it could. I think the problem is it's not really an origin story.
No, it's not. It's the movie sits a little weird that way. Yeah,
and I think that's part of the thing, because you're like, well, yeah, I want to know how they become the character, and it's like I don't need to know her love story. I'd much rather see her kick ass and like be this powerful woman. Right. I think that for me,
because we've seen Steve Trevor in previous of these movies too.
Yeah. I think it doesn't really bring anything to the story.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's sort of, if I had a negative, it didn't rub me the wrong way in time, but like in hindsight, I'd be like, well, yeah, it's like, just because she's a girl doesn't mean she has to, they have to like focus on the love story part of it.
And I mean, to move it away from Wonder Woman a little bit, conversely, I wish they had spent more time doing the love story stuff with Superman and Lois, or Batman and Catwoman, or anyone else. Because they kind of started in this continuity doing the New 52 thing, where it was Batman or Superman and Wonder Woman were a thing for a bit, because that's what was happening in the comics. And then they had to like in like a couple of scenes of two movies basically set up that like not only are they not together, but now Superman's in love with Lois. They've always been in love, and now the death of Superman's really going to hit her hard. Yeah, it's like it kind of felt like rushed, because they were like, oh, we bet on the wrong horse. They like. So I kind of wish they had given more attention to the romance of Superman and Lois, and maybe, less to Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor and stuff like that. Yeah,
for sure. All right, next from Ghost with a Pen.
Oh my God.
Ghost Dad?
No, this is a Ghost Rider.
Oh God, what was that theme song?
Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Is that a show?
Did you not know that's a show?
No, I just know that it's a thing that happens where people ghostwrite.
Ghost Rider was a 90s TV show
about someone who ghostwrites, or was it a ghost that writes?
A ghost that writes.
What?
Yeah.
How is that a TV show?
I mean,
here's another day where no one can see me, but I'm still working on my manuscript.
I mean, yeah, it's not that. It's not. It was like teens or something that were. God, it's been so long. What year was it from? It was from 1992 to 1995.
I have no idea what this is.
A group of teens solve neighborhood crimes and mysteries in New York with the help of a spirit who can only communicate through writing.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, ghost writer.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's it was awesome. Yeah,
I've never heard of that. I've never seen it.
wow.
Is this in the same category of things that I like think are like crappy kids things, like My Girl and The Big Green,
that are
and
like
stuff
gigantic movies that
They
everybody
weren't
saw?
that big. They were all basically direct to DVD,
Oh my god, I can't.
direct to VHS. Sorry.
Oh, you're gonna burn.
Oh.
Because I got the card.
Oh my God, he did it. He pulled it off.
It was a co-production between Children's Television Workshop and BBC.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ghost with a Pen. I assume you
Ghost Rider.
I assume you solved all the crimes in that sleepy town, and now you've moved on to writing into a podcast.
Yeah, you went from a pen to a pencil to a pen.
Well, and then from that to I guess you're like Ghost with a keyboard, because that's how you wrote it.
Whoa. Yeah. Blowing my mind, man.
Yeah.
We're kind of all ghosts online.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, but why would you say it?
We're all gonna be soon. You're all gonna be ghosts.
Oh my God, he has the card.
I can do anything now.
I mean, it's not what it does.
Now I can kill everyone.
I guess as long as you keep it until you die.
Well, the best way to keep it is by killing everyone else.
Oh, easy, Lobo.
Come on, bastard.
Keezy femme.
Yeah, that's right. Hello, I want to show my BF the DC universe. So what movies do you recommend from the DCAMU? He's into witty dialogue. Thanks. P.S. I started watching recently from Apple Podcast, so this is my first time tuning in for an episode.
Wow.
Oh no, you three have lovely chemistry. Sucks that Colin doesn't like Superman though. Oh my God.
That's a very lovely comment. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this,
Is this Flashpoint?
there's a rude surprise for you in episode 75.
Is this Flashpoint?
I love when we get comments from people who have decided to start to listen to the podcast from the beginning, but they have not caught up.
You three have lovely chemistry.
So much changes. I do love that. I mean, God, to say the three of us.
Hold on, let me blow the dust
To say
off
the
this
three
comment.
of us have chemistry together means that you've listened to like precisely 2 episodes.
and even then.
And it's like episodes like 13 and 14. They're like in the middle, kind of. Yeah. Because it's not good at the beginning. And it's certainly not good near the end.
I mean, it's kind of not even relevant at the end.
Yeah. We sort of just moved on.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you for listening. That was a lovely comment. I really appreciate it. Yeah, keep your ears peeled. Something happens.
I don't want to tell you, but things get dramatic.
So again, a sort of similar kind of question of like, what did we kind of recommend? You said Throne of Atlantis already.
Yeah.
I've said Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. I think Justice League Dark, the first one, is fun. I think that's worth watching.
What do you think's got witty dialogue?
Witty is like witty might be pushing it, but I do think Justice League Dark has good kind of beats. I think Constantine's relatively well written in there.
Yeah.
It's Matt Ryan voicing Constantine, which is great. There's also a Constantine movie called like City of Demons that's got more of just Matt Ryan being great as Constantine.
Yeah.
It's a very particular corner of DC, but he does it so well.
Yeah.
If he likes kind of just like the fun kind of pokey writing, then I think Justice League War is good. That one where the team comes together, because you get that moment with Green Lantern where he's like, well, what are your powers to Batman? And you get like the Shazam cyborg stuff.
Yeah.
Like that one's kind of fun for that stuff.
That does sound awesome.
I'm trying to think of one more to throw in there that kind of fits. And Oh, maybe like Justice League versus Teen Titans. Just
Yeah.
because you get some younger characters. You get characters that are young having to deal with Damian, who acts so not young. Like Blue Beetle and Beast Boy and Raven. And then you get Starfire and Nightwing in there, and they're flirty and stuff. Like, that one's got a bit more of the fun in it, too, I would say. Those are probably your best bets.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to...
I will say, in these movies, they make Dick Grayson just like such a horn dog.
Really?
Anytime he and Starfire are talking, she'll say something, and it'll either be explicitly about their sexual relationship because she doesn't understand the social cue of like, you don't talk about that publicly, or she'll say anything, and you can see him thinking, I could make that sex. There's a scene where they're doing like a...
It's like us watching Supernatural.
Wow. You just got so horny you unplugged your mic.
I know.
There's a scene in one of the movies, I can't remember. It might be that one, Justice League versus Teen Titans, where they're like talking on Skype or something, and she's just gotten out of the shower. She's got a towel on or whatever, and then the way they animate it, you see her like kind of put her like leg up because she's doing something, and you watch Dick Grayson on his end of the call just kind of stare and kind of like his like face sort of slumps in his hand. He's just like staring at her. He's so horny in those movies.
Wow. That is not the version of Dick that I like.
I mean, he's not gross, but it is a choice.
Yeah. I just don't think of him. I always think of him as this like
I think of him as
posthumous hero.
I think of him as the object of horniness.
Yes.
I seldom think of him as the one that's like, I should fuck now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Although, I mean, it is Starfire. I mean,
I get it.
yeah.
All right, moving on. The next question comes from most likely my search terms.
Glasses humiliation.
Sorry, my secondary search term. And to be fair, it's librarian glasses humiliation. Then Jensen, then this.
Yeah.
Which is Diaper Gal Kate.
Oh, no.
Who asks, which voice actor had the most unique take on their character? And who was the best voice actor?
Right. I was going to say that's a very specific way to word that question. Yeah.
Yes. So who's the most unique? Who's the best?
Oh, geez, Louise. I do like the guy that voices... I don't know who voices Boomerang, but he certainly makes him sound like a scumbag.
Yeah.
Which is important for Boomerang. I think that's good. I think Jason O'Mara as Batman is good at that sort of like, he's good at delivering lines like, get the hell out of my cave. Like that kind of Batman, the Batman that's like gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's as good at the Batman that just does the like the kind of funnier side of Batman. I don't think he's quite as good at that. Weirdly, they did have a different voice actor for Green Lantern and then replaced him with Nathan Fillion, someone from previous kind of animated movies.
He does Green Lantern, yeah.
Yeah, they ended up bringing him in.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion, I think, always plays kind of the fun of Hal really well. God, let's see.
I always think it's weird for Flash with Christopher Gorham.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's just not that much of Flash in these. I mean, he's in the team movies, but they seldom center him. He's sort of barely there. I think that's kind of the problem in general with this continuity.
You know who I like is...
Jerry O'Connell is Superman in these movies. Rosario Dawson is Wonder Woman. I actually think she's pretty good as Wonder Woman.
Jerry O'Connell is kind of a weird take.
He's not my favorite Superman.
No. He that doesn't I don't get that, like I get the aw shucks like Midwest kind of thing, but I don't really get the like.
I think weirdly he would be better in like, you need a Superman to show up for 2 episodes of a live action show, cast Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah.
I think it's actually weirder to be like, oh, that's the voice.
Yeah. You know who fucking rules is Sam Witwer as Orm.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great one.
Great casting.
Sam Witwer as Orm, because he's got that that kind of like regal, insane despot kind of energy.
Yeah.
You know, like he's got a line in that movie that I think anyone else saying it would sound so silly, but he's fighting Shazam and he goes, "Oh, I see we both call down the lightning. Let's see whose is stronger." And he's like, it's such a stupid line. Like it's a bad line and he delivers it so well.
It's really good.
Like I'll give you that one. Him as Orm is really solid. I think part of the problem is that like I can't remember who voices Darkseid, but they also pitch shift Darkseid to Darkseid.
Yes.
And that kind of takes something away, whereas like in the old Superman animated series, it was just Michael Ironside. Like he was just an actor using an actor's voice being Darkseid, and it worked so well. There are some characters that have that thing happen to them, and it's not as interesting, I think.
There's nobody that's bad.
No one is bad. I think it's probably Tara Strong doing Raven, I'm imagining. But whoever plays Raven plays her well. It probably is also Tara Strong doing Harley. Classic. Yeah. I do think Christian Slater's good as Deadshot, but he doesn't like stand out. I think you're right, actually. The most standout one is probably Sam Witwer as Orm.
Yeah.
He's the most interesting take. The rest are kind of just doing their jobs, and in doing their jobs, they sort of just
does Superman.
They sort of just blend.
Justice League War. I just can't believe it was Alan Tudyk.
Oh, so it wasn't Jerry O'Connell the whole time.
No, in War it was Alan Tudyk.
That's interesting too. I don't think I would have guessed that.
No, that's a weird one.
I think the Lex Luthor is odd in those movies too. And it's not because I only think of Clancy Brown, but the Luthor, he sounds too manic, I think, in these movies. And Luthor, I think, needs to feel like it's always going according to plan. And he doesn't in these movies. He's kind of a little too crazy, actually, I think.
Really?
Yeah. And that's sort of my general opinion on it.
Yeah.
Whoever voices Damien, I will say, I don't like Damien as a character. Great job of a little kid, but like with the mind of a 40-year-old killer. Like vocally, like performance-wise does it well. I just don't like the character.
Yeah.
But they're doing a good job of it. Yeah.
Do you know who plays the doll maker in is it Batman versus Robin?
Yeah, that's that one, yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic.
I did know that.
So weird.
Yeah, they cycle some odd like voices through there.
That's bonkers.
But yeah, I think you're right. It's Sam Witwer as Orm. That's the most interesting one for sure.
All right, let's leave Reddit, and for our final question, we're going over to the Doc Squad.
2 docs to the score to dice. I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I barely thought of a song there.
Doc scored in heaven.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Doc scored in my hand.
In the cold November rain. Scored.
It's been a long Doc scored, and I'm freezing to believe.
Not even classic rock, just Counting Crows now.
Maybe this Doc scored will be better than the last.
Doc scored Jones. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na. Oh.
Doc score.
Damn it, we could use that one. There was an online chat room. Everyone's posting naughty pics.
Cosmic DM says, release the pic. Na, 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 na. I like it.
Okay, what do we got?
Cosmic DM is actually who's asking the question.
Okay. Taking a rocket ship.
That's right. Straight to them DMs.
Yeah.
Bringing photos.
Yeah, DM in the PM. All right.
DM in the PM. who asks, why didn't they age up Tara in the Judas Contract movie? Or just drop the creepy pedophile Deathstroke romance thing? I know he was manipulating her, but she looks 12 in that one. It's creepy.
So, this is a thing we've talked about before.
Yeah.
I think
from the comics.
I think in issue 69, Inappropriate Moments, we talked about how in the Judas Contract comic,
yes,
part of the plot is that Deathstroke is manipulating and using Tara to gather information on the Teen Titans so that she could betray them and he could take them down. It's the Teen Titans. Tara is like 14 or 15 in that comic. And that Deathstroke is like 50. And he fully is having sex with her.
Oh,
I mean, like,
no.
you're not depicted, but I think you see them like in bed together. And like, that's how he's manipulating her.
Yikes.
It's bad. And I think we said in the episode, it's a thing about Deathstroke that has been swept under the rug because people are like, Deathstroke's so fucking cool. And it's like, remember the time he fucked a teenager? It's like, you don't.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to. And fair enough.
Good.
You know, I think if you were doing continuity policing, they would probably say, it was different. She was 18, or like
it was a different time,
or something, right? Like they would change it, you know.
But still, even 18.
But when the comic came out, that's what it was. That's what the setup was. And when they did this animated movie, they were like, "Let's be faithful."
Yeah,
I'll give some props for that, just in terms of like not glossing over it. But then also you have to ask the opposite question, which is this really serving the story? If you want to make Deathstroke look like a real piece of shit, then yeah, I guess it serves the story that way. But you also have to say, is there a way to make him look like a real piece of shit that doesn't involve this thing that maybe for people watching is a triggering kind of thing? Like if the story itself does not hinge on the fact that they must have sex with each other, do you have to do it? Or can you just have him manipulate her another way? And I think the question is you could, and you didn't have to do that. They almost certainly made the choice kind of on that, like the authenticity of the story kind of thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's fucked up. I mean, I don't know what to say other than that. I do think it really makes Deathstroke a villain, which is possibly the right move in a way for that movie, because Deathstroke is a character that like holds down his own series. Sometimes he fights on the side of the angels. Like if you want to be like, no, this Deathstroke, fully a villain, not redeemable. It's certainly a move that anchors him there.
Yeah.
You know, like, is it the only move that does that? I would say no, and you could have picked something else. But given that it was in the comics, they're being authentic. I think that's probably why they did it, whether or not I agree.
I don't think it...
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they had to, but I think I know why they did.
But if, like, Disney remade Song of the South, like... Well, look, this is the way the original content was.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, they remade Dumbo. I assume that the new Dumbo doesn't open with a song about how black people piss away their money.
Just
like,
again,
like the animated one does.
Just because like, that's the way it always is doesn't mean that it's the way it should
and I totally agree. But I think that's... The question is, why did they do it? And I think that's why.
Sure.
What we have to just like grapple with is whether or not we think it was worth it. I would argue it's probably not.
No, 100% not. Look, if you want that, you go to read the comic, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean it's bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
Or rather, you could even still imply it without sort of
showing
depicting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to 100% avoid it.
But I mean, even just change it to he was making her fall in love with him.
Yeah, because I mean, I think if I remember properly in the movie, it's one of those things where it's like they're both in the same room and one is like putting a shirt on or something like that. Like it's, you know what happened
post-coital
or something like to that effect, something roughly like that. You could definitely do it more where it's just like an enamored thing where he's leading her on and it's like that sort of corrupted mentor-mentee thing.
Yeah,
you could do that and it's sort of acknowledging the thing without being like fully that. Yeah.
Just stop painting him like a gymnast coach.
I think it's more just because like who are these movies aimed
Yeah.
at? And it's like you don't really need to show that.
No.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah, way to go, Cosmic TM. Way to really like sap the
that was the last question, which you know what time it is.
I do.
It's
7:30.
That's actually 7:21.
Oh God, we're gonna really have to pad out this episode.
And it's, can you guess the name of the character based on who someone who does not read comic books can describe that character to us? If you don't know what that means, I send a photo of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books, nor does she care for them.
Mm-hmm.
And she sends back 4 clues describing the thing that she sees.
That's right.
And we had a discussion about this before we went upstairs with my wife.
Yeah.
And
Did she do it?
And she did. And
Okay.
she sure did.
Damn it! Did she deliberately make like really specific bad clues because I called her out for making specific bad clues?
Oh, why would she do a thing like that?
Well, I did this to myself then, I guess.
Are you ready for the first clue?
I mean, no, but let's do it.
The first clue. Red.
I mean, God damn it. God damn it. Flash.
No.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been very funny.
So good, yeah.
Yeah.
Red Tornado.
No.
Scarlet Skier.
No.
Crimson Avenger.
No.
Okay, let's get another clue in there.
Next clue. Bugs me.
Okay. Is it Forager?
No.
Okay. Is it the Red Bee?
It is the Red Bee. It is the Red Bee.
The Red Bee is such an obscure Golden Age character. He had a pet bee named Michael.
The Red Bee.
Yeah.
The remaining clues were anatomically incorrect
Sure, okay.
and has an army of minis.
Yeah. Yeah, the Red Bee is like a real obscure Golden Age character that gets referenced sometimes in like JSA things, or like they'll call back to him once in a while because
Yeah.
it's fun. But I think he had like a pet bee named Michael that he would like be like, Michael, go, and like the bee would go and do.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It's like very Ant-Man-y.
I mean, it was less sophisticated than that. It was more just like he had a pet bee.
Yeah, but he also like had wings and dressed up like a bee. Like,
Yeah, but you're giving him too much credit. I don't think he could fly or anything. I think he just dressed
'cause
like that.
This
like,
image makes him look a lot cooler.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that image definitely is like an updated, like, how would we make this not stupid kind of Red Bee. Yeah.
Because that's and I think it's a woman too.
Yeah. That's not the original Red Bee. Yeah, you're right.
Which is interesting.
There you go.
It looks also like they're speaking another language.
It could be.
Maybe Spanish. I'm seeing some like upside down exclamation marks here.
Yeah, that looks Spanish. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a more modern comic. Yeah, the original Red Bee is truly hilarious.
Wow. All right. Well, with that, we would love to hear from you, residents. Did you guess the Red Bee that quickly?
I mean, almost certainly not.
Unbelievable.
You're not as good as me.
Maybe you want to
You're
say
not better than me.
you're not better than B.
God damn it. I hate it when I like the joke.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you want to send in a question for 2 episodes from now.
Oh, yeah. No, more than that. 3 episodes from now.
Oh, yeah.
We have the second part of the 2-parter
Yeah.
is about to come out. We've already recorded our episode on The Authority with Adil Rafai.
We did an episode on the Authority.
But
Authority always wins.
But if you're listening to this,
Holy
you have
shit.
time to submit questions for the episode we're going to record next week
Oh, my God.
with Alex Jaffe,
Holy shit.
columnist for DC.
That's right.
And we're talking about 52,
Holy
the limited series,
The Golden Age,
maxi
baby.
series.
Oh.
It was that 52 issue weekly series that happened right after Infinite Crisis. We're only talking about that series, the events that happened in there, the characters in there. So you can send your questions for that. and then we're going to record it, and then it'll come out a few weeks from now.
I thought you were referring to the age when women reach their sexual peak.
Oh man, no, that's not that.
Isn't it 50s?
No, it's in the 30s.
I thought it was
It's that
50s.
men reach their
at like
sexual
15.
peak at like 18,
Yeah.
and women is like 33 or 34 or
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
In my mind, it's 50s.
Oh man. Are we both thinking of Ellen from
Yeah, obviously.
Supernatural?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, there was another one recently that we were horned up about.
Like an
Older woman, yeah.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I mean, but yeah.
Yes, but not her.
That scene.
Kate Blanchett.
That scene makes me feel a lot of things when Russell Brand gets like bathed by her in that one movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, that's a lucky duck. All right. So send in your questions through our
You just ruined the whole episode. No, we're going to start again. You think I'm going to put this out?
Yeah, the bar is too high in this podcast. We're putting about Jesus. It's like one
You
gin.
had one gin. This is what happens when you don't drink for a year.
What's that Garth line? It's like yeah, of course I'm drunk. I had a whole beer. Reach out to us through our various social media platforms.
Ooh, nailed it.
Such as our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast.
our Twitter,
At Dr. DC.
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast.
of course, our email.
DrDCPodcast@gmail.com.
Jump on our subreddit.
r/Dr_DC.
The doc phone is always open.
208-917-3238.
Leave us voicemails at 208-917-DCEU.
If you're nasty.
DCEU later.
Ooh.
And of course, you can always go to our website.
DrDCPodcast.com or .ca.
And we got it at the beginning of this episode. Cosmic DM gave it to us so good. 5-star reviews.
No, we got it from Rick to the E this episode.
Oh, that's right.
Way to fuck it up.
Yeah, what the fuck, Cosmic DM? Get your shit together. Get your shit together.
You set him up and like...
That's right, it wasn't from him.
Send those 5-star reviews. If they're not on iTunes or Facebook, make sure you take a screenshot or something and send it to us so that we know that you did it.
I'm pretty sure Cosmic DM has given at least like one
Almost
or two.
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what have you done for me lately?
I guess there's going to be some rude stuff coming to you on the doc score. Some sort of weird like...
You would think so, but I feel like he's really like pointed his target at you.
Yeah, I don't mean like rude. I just mean rude like he's going to start... He'll be like, hey, Richard, what'd you say about me? Like,
Oh.
I just mean like a rude awakening for you that you can't stir shit up without it coming back to you now that we've opened up the lines of communication.
Yeah, but you're saying that like I go on the doc squad.
You do when it's to make fun of me.
Exactly.
Hey, do you want to go on the doc score?
And make fun of the
Sign
doctor?
up for our Patreon. You can join Cosmic DM and the crew. It's a lot of fun. It's our own Discord server. It's available for all of the members of our Patreon. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. All the levels get the doc scored, but then at the higher levels, you also get a bonus episode every week. You get videos. You get to help vote for an episode every month, like what we're going to cover. All sorts of fun stuff, and all of that goes to help support us in doing what we do as well. But
Yeah, they built a little community on that doc
it's a ton
squad.
of fun. I fucking love the doc score.
I also love the running sort of
I'm
thing.
calling out Cosmic DM specifically when really I should be calling out Flying Fox 1089 who keeps making
artwork.
daily artwork prodding me to release the horrifying picture you gave me as a Christmas gift.
Oh, I've never been so proud.
I know.
I feel like they're all my children. Like I've slowly cultivated this really mean-spirited thing, and now it's all just pointed at you.
Yeah.
It's
I
great.
think they're going to turn on you though. I've seen like the little like seeds of rebellion. I've seen it fomenting in the doc score. I think
It's gonna be like prison. I got to take out the biggest one now.
yeah, just like prison.
Yeah. Ooh.
Worst thing about prison, the Dementors.
Prison Mike. So good. And if you want even more content from us, don't you look, I'm going to say this once. We have a very nice place over there, and I don't want you hooligans coming over and
well, we do, but just leave the sass here.
yeah.
Leave everything about who you are on this podcast and just come over and enjoy the lovely sort of a supernatural appreciation that we have over on Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch.
Those 90% ladies are so nice.
It's like night and day. It's so funny. The comments we get on the Ghostfacers are like, "You guys are so much fun. We love listening to your podcast."
Every day when I drop my kids off at school.
Comments we get on Dr. DC is like,
"What's up, cucktards?
Which one of you cucks is going to read this comic?" I mean, it's literally what we've asked for, so it's no one's fault other than ours, but it is very funny.
Yeah, but we undeservingly are getting very sweet things on the Ghostfacers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghostfacers, a supernatural
Please check it
rewatch.
out, yeah.
Every single week we release an episode reviewing that week's episode of Supernatural.
Nice.
Seamless.
You're such a good podcaster.
This is my practice pod.
This is my main one.
You need to change your perspective. It's working great for me. Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.